Okay, so here's the deal. A guy named Manuel Hernandez is going to court today after a speedboat crash in New York Harbor killed a mom and her baby. Let me be honest, when I first heard this, my gut reaction was anger. Like, how does someone end up flipping a boat with a mom and infant on board? But as I dug into this, the story got way more complicated, and way more interesting, than just blaming one guy. Let me break this down. First off, the victims, Sarah Sanchez, 27, and her 5-month-old daughter Antonella. That name, Antonella Garcia, hits different when you realize this baby was literally just starting to experience life. And now their deaths are tied to a 22-foot Bayliner speedboat. Wait, 22 feet. That's barely the size of a small yacht. How many people were even on this thing? 12 others survived, which makes me wonder, was this boat overloaded? Was it designed for that many passengers? Or was this just a reckless joyride that went horribly wrong? Now, the operator, Hernandez, is facing federal charges after already being hit with state charges for reckless endangerment. Here's the twist: federal versus state charges in cases like this often mean different stakes. Federal court usually involves interstate commerce or navigable waters, which this technically is, since it's New York Harbor. But why pow on the federal charges? Is this a symbolic move to send a message about maritime safety? Or is there something darker here, like systemic failures in how recreational boats are regulated? The Coast Guard called the rescue efforts heroic, but let's unpack that. Survivors were pulled out by responders and a Good Samaritan vessel. So, regular people might have saved lives here while authorities scrambled. That's inspiring, but also terrifying. How often does the Coast Guard rely on bystanders during emergencies? And what does that say about emergency preparedness in one of the world's busiest harbors? Here's a detail that stuck with me: police divers found the bodies. That implies the water was murky, visibility was low, and the response wasn't immediate. If they were pronounced dead at a hospital, how long were they submerged? Minutes? Hours? And why did it take so long for authorities to reach them if this happened near the Statue of Liberty, a major tourist zone? This raises a bigger question: are our emergency systems designed for the worst-case scenarios, or are we just winging it? What many people don't realize is that recreational boating has a shocking number of fatalities every year. Over 600 deaths in the US alone since 2020, according to the Coast Guard's own stats. But these cases rarely make national headlines unless kids are involved. This tragedy is a gut punch because it's personal. It could have been any of us taking a sunset cruise with family. So why isn't boating safety as regulated as driving? No license. No mandatory safety training. That's a loophole waiting to happen. Let's talk about Hernandez for a second. He's 46, facing what's basically a murder charge in the eyes of the public. But here's the thing: reckless endangerment isn't just about malice. It's about ignoring foreseeable risks. Did he know the boat was overloaded? Was he speeding near the Statue of Liberty for a thrill selfie? Or was this a tragic accident amplified by lax oversight? The answers here matter because they'll shape whether this case becomes a cautionary tale or a scapegoating spectacle. One thing that immediately stands out is how the media frames this. Headlines focus on the deaths, but the real story is the chaos of accountability. State versus federal charges, the role of bystanders, the lack of boating regulations, it's all interconnected. This isn't just about one man's mistake, it's about a system that treats boats like toys instead of potential death traps. And until we treat maritime safety with the same seriousness as road safety, these tragedies will keep happening. So here's my take: yes, Hernandez deserves legal consequences. But if we stop there, we're missing the point. This is a symptom of a bigger problem, our collective complacency about leisure risks. We need stricter boating laws, better enforcement, and more public awareness. Otherwise, the next headline will just be another grieving family and another operator in cuffs. What do you think? Is this a justice issue, a safety issue, or both? Let me know in the comments.